It's good.
So, welcome to our mini webinar regarding the affiliation that we have with Parkinson Montréal-Laval. Accès is an agency that helps find retirement homes for loved ones. Um, the ones that are participating with us today, are you in a retirement home already? You're not in a retirement home, you live alone. Just to give me an idea of where we're at, so my presentation could focus on certain things for you guys.
I'll start if you'd like. This is
Go ahead.
Jan. I'm married to my husband has Parkinson's disease. We don't yet live in Montreal. We live in Ottawa. Our kids live in Montreal, and we're planning to move there um, in the next while. I don't think we will live in a retirement home yet,
Okay,
but I was interested in what you would be telling us about how to find a place and
perfect.
what kinds of things would be on offer.
Perfect. So we're going to go towards that route today. We're going to speak about how to find a retirement home, what we do, and how we could help you. And Peter, Mr. Peter, for yourself.
Yeah, my wife has Parkinson. She will join us shortly. We are still living at home, but we are interesting to see what are the possibilities if living at home independently becomes a bit more difficult.
Okay. So I'm going to start the presentation. It's going to be a basic presentation. If I don't speak loud enough, if it's not clear enough, just let me know. Give me a little heads up. I could see everybody now, so it helps. At the same time, Nadia, if ever you want to come in, you're more than welcome to come in and speak about it as well.
I will. I will. Hello,
Perfect.
everyone.
So, trusted partner for a retirement home. What we do, I'm Natasha DLC, development coordinator. I have a bachelor's degree as a recreational therapist. So, in the past, I did work in long-term care facilities, retirement homes as a recreational therapist. I catered to individuals who did have Alzheimer's as well as different physical needs, including Parkinson. As we know, Parkinson could affect us in different levels. And like what we do is we're here to listen, we're here to help, and we're here to find a solution for you. So who we are. We're counselors that are members of the Quebec Association of Lodging Consultants, the ACHQ. Usually it's a slogan in French. So you'll probably hear it throughout the presentation. And just to give you a better understanding of what we are, what we do, and how we're affiliated with retirement homes as well. We're able to fully understand your situation and the ones of your loved ones. So we're really here to be a support system for you as well. We work closely with healthcare professionals to better meet the needs of our seniors. So seniors could be individuals over the age of 65, going up to, we do have sometimes clients that reach 100, 102 years old, all depending on what they need. Some are still at home, some do look for retirement homes, some want home-based services. So we're actually here to help find the best suitable solution. And the best part of our service is free. So there is no payment method for us. We are affiliated with retirement homes that are certified. We're going to get into detail in a couple of minutes. But when someone says really free, how do you get paid? That's an agreement that we have with the retirement homes. In Quebec, so for Jan, for you, it's a bit different because in Ontario, retirement homes don't work the same way. So prices would vary, and you're looking at in Ontario, prices are going to jump up extremely compared to Quebec. So in Quebec, there are over 1,200 retirement homes, vary in sizes. Some retirement homes, some residences have as few as 1 to, let's say, 9 units. Others are going to have more than 200 units. So we're really here to find what's suitable for that individual. Okay. So if we're a couple in this case, it helps because Jan and Peter, with your loved ones, eventually maybe you are going to think about going into a retirement home. You want to stay together. You want to try to help one another as much as you can, but yet you don't want to separate from your loved one. So we try to find a best suitable solution so that you could stay together, have the necessary services, but yet still live either independently, two separate apartments, or together until extra services are required. So resources in Quebec. You probably heard about RPA. So you probably heard it on the news, on the radio, on the TV. When it says RPA, usually it's in French, Résidences pour personnes âgées. In our case here today, senior retirement homes, senior residences, RIs, intermediate care facilities, and long-term care facilities, which are considered a CHSLD. So what we work on, Accès Résidences works a lot with the RPAs. So they're private retirement homes. They're not governed by the public system. They're certified by the government, and we do follow specific standards with them. So example, if a residence is not certified, most likely we will not recommend it. We want to make sure that the retirement home we do give as an idea would be a certified retirement home, that they have all the qualifications, the right staff, as well as, in this case, regarding Parkinson, in this case, have the right services, or if need be, the right floor of care. An RI is primarily, so it's intermediate care facility is primarily a public establishment and generally considered the step before public CHSLD. More and more in Quebec, they are getting rid of the private RIs and they're going more public. That's the same thing regarding a CHSLD, a long-term care facility. The public establishments usually are funded by the government, as well as to get into these establishments, you need to have a social worker or be transferred directly from a hospital to these establishments. Cost-wise is going to be different. So far, so good? Not going
Yep.
too fast?
Yeah.
Perfect. Private RPAs in Quebec. So it helps because we have 4 different types of retirement homes in Quebec. So we have the family style ones. We have residences with personalized care, active independent retirees, and evolving residences. Okay. So if we would take Jan and Peter, that you guys are autonomous, you don't have any limitations, no diagnosis of Parkinson, et cetera, and you would be alone, you would probably look for a retirement home that's more for active independent retirees. You want to be active, you want to be out there, you want to do different things. But it doesn't necessarily mean that in an active retirement home that they cannot provide specific services for your loved ones. So let's go back a bit regarding family style residences. More cozy, more homey, smaller. Usually it's more for someone who's going to require more assistance. Someone that doesn't like to be around several people, we're going to go towards a homier environment. Residents with personalized care. Personalized care can include assistance with meals, medication, hygiene, helping with the showers, services that maybe we could help our loved ones, but yet we're not comfortable in doing it. Or in this case, we don't have the CLSC involved to help us getting these services. Well, then the retirement homes could provide them for us. Everything is going to be tailored based on their needs. Yes, sometimes we do have what we would like, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be what the person really needs. Ideal for seniors who need more than a basic support, but do not require full-time care. Evolving residents. So we're going to skip over the active independent retirees, but we're going to go towards evolving residences designed to adapt the care needs over time. So let's just say, hypothetically, we're looking for a retirement home today. You give us the information that we need, and then we start looking for retirement homes suitable to what you're looking for. And we're going to get into a little bit later on regarding the budget, et cetera, but we're going to look for a residence that today we could live together. And then tomorrow morning, if ever we need more services or more support, we'll go towards an evolving residence. So there's several of them on the island, also of Montreal, Laval, but in Quebec, generally in Quebec, that could provide both for an autonomous individual, a semi-autonomous, and a non-autonomous individual. So we're actually here to make things easier for you. You don't have to go on the internet, start searching for retirement homes. We will do that for you. The only thing that we ask is the transparency. So you're not wasting your time. We're doing the job for you. It's easier. And we have all the ins and the outs of the retirement homes. So what's a retirement home based on a family style residence? Family style residence, less than 50 units, usually family owned, a sole owner. retirement homes over 50 units, usually are private owners from Quebec, Canada, real estate investors, managers, real estate investment companies, management companies. When we're looking at the big chains of retirement homes, we're looking at Cogir, Groupe Maurice, we're looking at les Résidences Soleil, Chartwell. These are retirement homes that do have several complexes. Then if you're looking at more of the family style residences that have less than 50 units, let's look at more between 1 to 10, 1 to 15 units. Usually they have one building, but some of them actually have 2 to 3 or even 4 buildings. So all depending on which area we're looking for. You're in Laval, Montreal. So in this case, what happens, or in this case, Jan, in Ontario coming back to Montreal. In this case, what we do is we will try to find, again, best suitable place for the individual, but also find where they're going to provide the best services. So we try to, sometimes we will get you out of your region just to have a better, better quality of care. Our services, what we do. So everyone thinks that we're real estate agents, that we're here to sell, to make a sale. We're not there for that. We're really here to help find the best place, meetings. So either we meet at home, in the hospital, virtually. We've done several meetings with family members, distance-wise, that family members are out of town. We want to do a Zoom call. We'll be able to have a conversation with them to see exactly what's needed. If we have to validate with professionals, we'll assess the needs of the senior. We'll assess the needs of the individual, really looking for the extra support. We'll speak sometimes to a social worker. We'll speak sometimes to the nursing staff, all depending on where they are. If they're hospitalized, sometimes they don't have a social worker immediately. We'll speak to the nurse to see exactly what's needed. Recommendations, we work with certified or RPAs suggested based on the needs. We have different types of categories. We don't get into detail regarding the categories fairly often because it could be somewhat confusing. But usually when someone has a diagnosis of Parkinson's and affiliated with other diagnoses, we go towards a category 3-4. 3-4 meaning more services, more care. Presence. We will support you throughout the whole process from A to Z. So from the first meeting that we have together to the last one, that's going to be a signing of a lease in a residence, and moving forward, if we feel that, there's missing something, we're not satisfied with the services, we're always here to help you, to give you that extra support. So that's, we try to do our 3-month follow-ups with you. And sometimes it even happens that, I'm sure Nadia could vouch for this, is we go over and above to make sure that everything is suitable for your needs and that you're happy with the place that you've chosen. Keep in mind.
Can I add a little point?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because when we give the feedback, it also helps us for future clients in order to know if it's a suitable place. So we really get the nitty-gritty details about, our residents, so we can share that residents afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want go ahead.
I just want to say something. Gauthier just joined the meeting, so welcome, Gauthier. If you have any question to Natasha, don't hesitate.
Perfect. Whoops. So sorry about that. So choosing the right residence. How do we choose the right residence for our loved ones or even for ourselves? This is a question that we get on a regular basis. We get calls on a regular basis saying to us, when they call their call center saying, I don't know where to start. Where do I go? How much is it going to cost? It's so much information. So what happens is that when someone were to call us, example, even if in this case that we're looking for certain information, what we would do is we would really go, like Nadia said, get into detail with you. Let's assess the needs of the individual or the couple. What are we looking for? How autonomous are they? Do they have any health issues? If they do have specific health issues, is it gonna cause a problem within the retirement home? What are their interests? Do they have any personal preferences? I'll give you an example. We have a couple, we're looking for a retirement home. Someone's gonna say, I'm looking for a 4.5. Well, we'll ask the question, why a 4.5 and not a 3.5? Is it because we sleep in 2 separate beds? Is it because my husband snores and my wife doesn't, so we go into detail just to make sure that you're comfortable. The budget is very important. So when we're looking towards a private sector and a public sector, budgets can vary. We'll speak to you about the pension, retirement income, savings, available tax credits that we have. So information that's going to determine the budget for a retirement home. We're not asking you how much you make in a year and what the outcome going to be. What we really want is how much can you afford. So it could happen sometimes that we have family members that say to us, well, our loved one, we have a budget of, let's just say, $1,000 and I need full service care for my husband who has Parkinson. We'll be transparent with you and tell you, unfortunately, we cannot help you in this situation because the budget is very limited. Choose the region. The reason why sometimes we do get out of region is because maybe it's going to be more affordable, as well as the services closer to healthcare providers. We'll ask you regarding proximity to family. Jan, I'm going to use it as an example. I'm sorry. You want to come back maybe towards Montreal because you have family in Montreal, which is easier, right?
Yeah.
So we'll ask you the question of, okay, well, where does your family live? So far, where are you in Ontario?
I'm in Ottawa.
You're in Ottawa? Okay, so it's not that bad. Let's see, give or take two hours.
2.5.
So let's just say we're looking for a retirement home in Montreal. Already it takes you 2.5 hours for your children to come and see you and vice versa. Well, now if we're going towards Montreal, a drive of 30 to 35 minutes won't make it, it won't be a big deal because you're not that far out. But in this case, we'll try to look for something fairly close to where your children live, right? So that they're more accessible to get to you faster. Proximity to healthcare centers. Everyone wants the same thing. We want to be close to a hospital. We want to be close to a clinic. But what we don't realize sometimes is within the retirement homes, we do have doctors that take new patients. Yes, it's not a hospital, but yet it is a service that we're going to have provided by them. You have nursing staff. So we have to follow protocol in a retirement home. Someone falls, they're going to evaluate you. What's going to happen? Most likely go to the hospital. You could be 2 streets away from the closest hospital. Doesn't necessarily mean they will send you there. So when you're looking towards hospitals, healthcare centers, it's in a limbo, okay? The same thing for healthcare providers. If you have a family doctor and or example, let's just say dentist or your physiotherapist, your occupational therapist, we want something close by to them, but it doesn't mean that the retirement home does not have these services within the building. So sometimes we are comfortable, sometimes we don't want to get out of our routine and we're used to having the individuals next to us, but we try to find the best suitable solution. Plan the process. Include the senior in decision-making process. Respect their pace and concerns. Madame Gauthier, I'm just going to ask you, are you looking for someone, is it for someone within your environment that has Parkinson's, loved one? We don't hear you. We don't hear you. Take your time. No, unfortunately, we don't hear you. Okay, so just give me a thumbs up. Okay, I'll ask you one question. Does someone...
Now,
Oh,
can you hear me now?
I hear you now.
Okay. So, sorry, I missed. Yeah, I forget things. So I didn't write it down. That's
It's
why.
okay.
So I live in Montreal. It's for me. I have Parkinson, and I live in a house alone,
Okay.
and I'm slowly downsizing because one day I will have to move. So I'm not sorry, I missed the beginning of this.
It's okay.
Yeah. So I just, is this Parkinson Canada? I'm sorry.
It's Parkinson Montreal-Laval.
Oh, okay. So we're here. Okay, good.
So I'm going to repeat just a little bit of what I said earlier. We're an agency. Accès Résidences is an agency that helps find retirement homes.
Yeah.
So we do work with different types of diagnosis, Alzheimer's, Parkinson, individuals who had strokes in the past. So we try to find a suitable place for the individual looking for a retirement home.
Okay, so I'm not ready, psychologically ready for that. I'm okay still in the house, and ideally what I would like is a bedroom, not just a room, because I visited places, and I visited Bayview. I'm in the West Island. I visited Saint-Anne-de-Bellevue, the hospital there that takes. It's off. A lot of things are, they're different, but they all have just one room, and that's it.
So what you missed at the beginning is that those type of places, so if you're looking at Bayview, Saint-Anne-de-Bellevue, those are public. They're not private.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so we work with more of the private sector. We are the private sector. And in this case, example, and this will help the individuals with us, if you're looking for a 3.5, well, you'll not find a 3.5 in a private sector. You'll find it you'll not find it, sorry, in a public sector. You will find it in a private sector.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
So I have to visit places. I don't want to move now for sure, but I know it's coming.
That's okay. You see, so we're not here to push this, we're not here to push it saying you have to move tomorrow morning. It's an ongoing process, right? So plan the process, respect their pace and the concerns. So in this case, everyone has a different concern. Everyone has a different pace. I would want to move tomorrow morning. I'm autonomous. I want to move, but yet my husband doesn't want to move. He's hesitant. He doesn't know what he'll get. So there's always one or the other that's going to say to themselves, I don't want to move. I want to stay in my home. I don't want to go anywhere. And that's okay. We're not here to force you. The reason why you guys are here today is you're here to plan for the future. Okay? So today we can make a decision for ourselves. We say, no, we don't want to move, but we want to see what's out there. Tomorrow morning, something happens. You know that now it's time to move. So there's two things that happen. It's an emergency. You're hospitalized or someone's hospitalized within your family. Doctor says you're no longer returning back home. You have to find a residence. We haven't started the process. You don't know what you're looking for. We don't know what you want. So what happens in this case is now we're trying to scramble and get information. What can we get? How much is it going to cost? How long is it going to take us? So our little hamster is going at 1,000 miles an hour trying to find the best place. But if you're planning in advance, in this case, you know what you want and you know what you don't want, right? So we try to respect that as much as possible. We do get calls at times, and Nadia could vouch for this as well. We get calls sometimes that someone has to move, like they have to move immediately. They're hospitalized. But sometimes we put up the red flag and say, okay, if we have to move tomorrow morning, what's the reason? What happened in the past? What happened in the last 6 months? Has it been something that's been reoccurring? I felt we get it often. We fell down the stairs. I couldn't move. My diagnosis, has advanced. My medication is no longer working. And especially with Parkinson's, it's very hard sometimes because there's a fine line between Parkinson's and what happens when someone has a diagnosis of a cognitive decline. So the cognitive decline is going to affect example, our diagnosis of Parkinson, the medication that we're taking, we think, or doctors think it's going to be one thing, but then it's something else. So that's where we come in and we ask the specific questions just to see how we are. I'll give you another example is the first thing we hear was when someone has Parkinson's, we're going to ask the question, can we get in and out of bed on our own? Are we okay for that? Are there moments in the day that we become more stiff? If we could use it as that word, as that terminology, do we tremble? If we do tremble, is it caused because of the medication we're taking? So it's all little information that we need to know. It doesn't mean you'll be refused in a residence. It doesn't mean you have to go into a long-term care facility, but it's just going to give us a better understanding of what the future brings to us. And in this case, we have 2 out of 3 that are with a loved one that do have Parkinson, right? So it just, like I said, to get a better understanding of what we need and what we want. So at least you're ready, you're prepared, and you know what you're looking for. Does that make sense?
Yep, makes sense. The problem with Parkinson's, it's evolutive. It's
Exactly.
evolutive. I don't know how to say that in English.
Evolving. It evolves.
Evolving. So, I might be able to get out of bed now, but maybe not in, I don't know. I have no idea, in a year, 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, I don't know. So I'm looking, I think I'm in support groups also, and I think people, are looking for a place where they don't have to move
Exactly.
That's important. The cost is obviously an issue. The having a bedroom for sure. Oh, well, hopefully, and also a place where we don't have to move again. See, evolutive, it goes to palliative.
So that's where there's a fine line, okay? How can I let's just say we're looking for a residence. So there are retirement homes that are going to be evolving retirement homes. And just to let you know, it's taped. So it's taped today. So you'll be able to go back and listen to the presentation at the beginning. It's going to help you. So we're looking for a residence, and we want to make sure that, we could stay there as long as possible. But at a certain time, eventually, you'll probably have no choice to move if you surpass the hours of care the retirement home could provide. So if you can no longer eat on your own and you need to be spoon-fed, or you can't transfer on your own, you need help with 2 individuals, or example, you're bedridden. There are certain things that retirement homes have a maximum of personnel that could be allocated to you to help you with these things. So there's a possibility that maybe in 6, 7, 8 years from now, or 5 months from now, we don't know how, we don't know how the process is. We don't know what's going to happen. What happens in this case is the social worker comes involved inside the dossier, and then we do find this, with the help of a social worker, they'll be able to find you a suitable place, whether it's going to be a long-term care or not. So all depending on the needs. We look for it today, and then eventually for tomorrow morning, you're on a waiting list for the public sector. And this is for individuals who live alone, right? So if you're in a couple, it's different, because you're going to try to find a place where you want to be able to be independently with your loved one in the same unit. Then eventually your loved one who does suffer from Parkinson's, et cetera, could move on a care floor, have the right services on a care floor without burning ourselves out, and then eventually be transferred to a long-term care facility if they need it.
Well, you see, I first of all, I feel I'm the only one talking here.
It's okay. No. Jan before spoke. We spoke to Jan. We spoke to Peter before. Okay. Hi, Claire. Welcome.
Okay.
You hear me? I'm Jeanette.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
You hear me? Okay. I'm Jeanette.
Hi, Jeanette. But before we spoke to your husband, Peter.
Yeah, I know.
So
and
welcome.
we also are welcoming Claire just now.
Yeah.
Yes, hi.
So I've been listening all the time.
Perfect.
So I would like just ask 2 questions.
Go
Is
ahead.
that the moment?
Yes, absolutely.
So you explained clearly about the cost of a RPA and the availability of medical care.
Mhm.
That's all extra, I believe. It's not
So-
included in the rent.
So no, there's certain residences that have packages that it's included in the rent, and others are going to be à la carte, like we say.
Okay. Okay, and the same goes when you see a lot of RPAs have a vast program of activities that's all included in the rate that you pay for the
So-
rent, basically. But that's
Again, all depending on the activities. So it's activities that are going to be out of region, or you need to take a bus, or you're going to the museum. That's going to be extra cost. But usually the activities that are within the building, example, aqua fitness, gym, let's say bowling. I'm giving you just example, bingo. Those are going to be included. There's no extra fees for that.
yeah. So yeah, okay. And then another question is more like a long-term view, like the lady, Madame Gauthier, she said, I want to move only once,
Mhm.
preferably. And I also agree to that. But in light of some recent closing ups of RPAs around Quebec, how high are chances that you might have to move, not just because of your health, that you can no longer be taken care of in the RPA, but because there's closing the business, because it is a business.
Yes. So
Organization, really.
So I'll give you an example now what's going on. There's a lot of retirement homes getting sold and bought either by Chartwell, by Cogir, within one another.
Yeah.
What's happening in this case is the building's still there. They're still providing the same services. It's just the name that changes, or the sole holder of, the shareholder is changing. It's not the name, it's not the services. It's very rare since I've been in the business. I've worked in retirement homes for over 10 years. I've been in the field for over 15. It's very rare to see a bigger chain of retirement homes shutting their doors down and kicking everybody out. What's going to happen, those are most likely the category 1s, category 2s. Those are active living individuals, like individuals that don't need any services at all. They're going to convert those buildings into autonomous or into just regular apartment buildings.
Can I add something, Natasha?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Maybe in the news, maybe you've heard of some closing, but they were usually some little family ones because there was a law that came in that everybody had to have sprinkler systems. And it's very expensive, and some people couldn't absorb that cost. So little ones closed because of that. But that was a good law to put in for safety reasons. So maybe you heard some of that, but that was really very specific to that situation. Is that correct, Natasha?
Exactly.
Huh?
So
Okay.
when we work with certified residences, more and more we're seeing it's more in the outskirts. It's not going to be Montreal, Laval. It's very rare. There was one in Laval that changed category. They were from a category 3, they went to a category 1. That's just because they no longer have a specific nursing staff.
Exactly.
That's our job to make sure that we try to get a suitable place for you, right? So the reputation of the residents as well. We want to make sure it's going to be we're not going to just send you anywhere just to send you somewhere and say, hey, that's it, that's done. No, it's not our goal. Our goal is, we want to try to find the best place. It could happen in the past. You've heard on the news, it's transparency. Selection went bankrupt. But Chartwell and Cogir took over all their buildings. So no one was left in the street.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it always happens that we think, we want to have just one move. We don't want to move again, but we can't think that way. What we say is, let's look at today and the near future 2 to 3 years, to see what's going to happen. And after that, if you need more, then so be it, we go towards more.
Okay, and suppose somebody goes to live in the RPA with your help, they've chosen carefully the spot they want to go, then things go worse. and worse, so they have to find a spot in a CHSLD. Are you also helping them find that, or is that another issue?
That's so the
Yeah.
CHSLD, the long-term care facilities are going to be based with the social workers. So you have to have a dossier open in the public sector for that. Unfortunately, yes, if we would talk about this 2-3 years ago, more and more we had private long-term care facilities, but you're looking at excruciating prices of $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month. It's not our goal. So when we go towards the public sector, it's going to be with what your revenue is, right? So with a social worker, the help of a social worker, they will put you on a list. Again, you could wait months. We're going to be transparent here. It doesn't take days unless you're at risk, unless you become a high priority, then it's just a waiting game until a spot becomes available. So unfortunately, no, we cannot help regarding the public sector.
Okay,
Okay.
that's good. Thanks.
I want to say something. I looked on the internet
Yep.
for the Résidences for Parkinson.
Mhm.
So I think there was like 95. This is in Quebec, the province of Quebec. So I just started that. So I looked at them, and those more in the West Island, I wrote down, and they had like palliative. These were for Parkinson patients. I think there was 95, and some of them said it went to palliative.
So depending on the residence.
So
on
yeah,
their
there was
category.
quite a lot actually.
So you have to be careful when searching on the internet.
Yeah.
You're gonna read, I don't know which website you're on, but the websites that you go on, you have to make sure that they're updated, okay? Because more and more, you could call the residences, and as soon as you say, I have Parkinson, some of them are gonna say, no, 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 we don't help with Parkinson.
Oh yeah, well these all had Parkinson
I
in it.
understand that, but that's what I'm saying. You have to be careful on the website that
Okay.
you're on, okay?
I see. Yeah.
Because
I
even
understand.
palliative care,
Yeah.
usually they will not publicize that they do palliative care unless it's a public sector. Because palliative care is intense for someone. It's a lot of beaucoup de gestion. I forgot how to say that word in English.
Lots of
I'm sorry.
management.
Thank you. Lots of management, so you need to have the right nursing staff. It's a nurse that has to do it. You have to provide the care, the supervision, the doctor has to be on. So you have to be careful to make sure it's not a public and that it's private.
Yeah. Okay. I have to do my homework there for sure.
But that's where we come in, Madame Gauthier, is we do that for you.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay.
I can tell people a really nice place because my mother was there, and I'm from the Eastern Township. It's a Grace Village. Do you know that place?
Yes, in Estrie, yeah.
It's real, and that place you can go until the end.
Yes, but it's private, right?
Yes.
They'll be able to provide certain services, but all depending on the certification of the government.
Okay. I'm not sure what that means, but
the certification of the government beforehand, before you came on, we were talking about different categories in retirement homes. So usually it's a category 4. Certain residences are going to provide more care, as well as usually when they do palliative care, they go in parallel with the CLSC to keep them comfortable where they are. There's a whole process once you get to palliative care, and it changes depending on the region.
Got it. Okay.
Any other questions, comments?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
My mother-in-law and father-in-law lived in a retirement home for many years, and what we saw there was a deterioration over the years. As we know, people don't want to move. And slowly over time, the quality of the food deteriorated. The physiotherapist who would come for regular sessions was no longer available. I think for us seniors, that's one of the biggest, for any of us who've had experience, it's one of the biggest hesitations we have, and the reasons why one of the reasons why we would want to age at home, where it feels like we have more control.
Mhm.
In your experience, in my head, I think of the difference between private and public. The idea that we could trust the public more than the private, because private is always adding a profit margin to whatever they're doing.
Mhm.
In your experience, are there places in Montreal that haven't done that? Or is it something that we just have to keep our eyes wide open for?
So what I tell my clients all the time, there's no perfect residence. There's no perfect private and public. Perfection does not exist. Okay?
Mhm.
Keep your eyes and your ears open. I always say it, and Nadia could vouch for it because I say it on a regular basis when we have meetings with the staff, is just make sure that you're aware of the surroundings, you're aware of what's going on. So were your in-laws in a private, were they private or public?
They were in a private.
Okay. A lot of them take it to heart. Yes, it is a business. At the end of the day, it's the same thing like the government. It's the same thing like the long-term care facilities. The public ones were budget cuts.
Mhm.
So the physiotherapy, they have 3 physiotherapists. Now they're down to 1 because they have no more money to pay for it. So there's pros and cons in both. I can't tell you that it's better in a private or in a public. That's something that you have to decide. Deterioration, I've seen lots of individuals that moved into retirement homes that we took them out of public and we put them into private places, and it just went upwards and they were doing really well, and vice versa. So it all depending on, individuals could afford to go towards the private sector, individuals can't. So that's one point that we look at. And then it's really to see the needs. If you have more needs, then most likely we will refer you to go towards the public sector. But I cannot say it's better in the private, it's better in the public. I've had family members in both. My grandparents were in the private sector and then they moved to the public sector. We had comments all the time saying it wasn't good enough, et cetera, but where my grandparents were, no problem. So it all depending on the residents. Sometimes it does happen that we do get calls asking for our opinion regarding public sectors or the private. Again, it's our opinion.
If I could just interject, Natasha, just in terms of in the private, sometimes there may be more activities, a little bit more stimulation. I'm not saying all of them, but you'll find that maybe a little bit more because in the CHSLD, well, they're really care because people need more than 3 hours of care. So that's a difference sometimes in the private, that you might have someone that takes care of the activities and there might be more stimulation.
Does that make sense, or?
Yeah, I mean, that is much as if you imagine living someplace for 20 years and what you move into, slowly but surely things erode. The food isn't healthy. There may still be activities, but the facility of an older person to move and also not to have any guarantee, which is what we would like, that what we are getting involved in is going to remain, like the quality is going to remain. They ended up with private care in terms of helping them get into bed. However, the food was not palatable, and and it was a good nursing home retirement home when they started there. And this is part of my concern in terms of our deciding
Okay,
where to live.
I have a question to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
You mind telling me the name of?
Because that was the sense I had.
So Ontario and Quebec, completely different. The certifications are different.
Okay.
Okay, certifications are different. In Quebec, to have a retirement home running, you have to be certified. Well, you could have some that are not certified, but they still have to follow santé publique. They still have to follow nutritionists. So to hear that food wise, like I said, you could go to a restaurant. I could love the restaurant and you could hate the restaurant. Our palates are different, right? So I wouldn't be worried about the food wise. I would be more worried about the services of care that are being provided. If they're giving you an example right now, if we're going to be transparent, someone is incontinent, they're in diapers all day long, and they're not caring for that individual, then I would have a red flag saying, hey, by the way, what's going on? Right? Food,
Right.
a lot of individuals have little fridges in their apartments or in their studios. They could eat what they want to eat. They could ask the dining room to have something different. So it's very flexible. And again, price-wise in Ontario, especially like I know the ones of Toronto. I worked for Chartwell for 10 years. I went to the Ontario side several times and oh my God, it's so expensive, right? So it's extremely expensive for what they're getting. So that's where we come in and we try to see the difference of it. But like I said, no place is perfect. You could have, I've taken clients out of the top residences in Montreal and I brought them into little, like small places, very family-oriented places, cheaper in price, and the services were extraordinary. So all depending on if family members are honest with us and they're honest with the retirement home that things have to be changed, then it could be something positive. But if a family member is just gonna, let's just say, talk bad or write a negative review on Google, then it comes to a different. Yeah. Any other questions? Flavie, questions?
Okay. No, it's a very good presentation, a very good webinar. I think it's like help us to see more and ask ourselves some question about where we want to live and so on. So I think it's pretty good. And question were very good too.
See, there's no wrong or right question, right?
Yeah.
And there's no wrong or right answer. All depending on what you want at that moment, that's what we're here for. Even if you just want to give us a call and say, hi, question for you. How can I, we could do that as well. We could help you. We could guide you with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna finish the record and send to you the record for those that arrived late, and I will also get the number of Accès residents. If you have more questions, don't hesitate to ask them. And I want to say thank you for all, and we also have some activities from Parkinson Montréal-Laval in English too. I think those maybe some of you are already registered to our class activities and singing and stretching and so on. So don't hesitate if you want to know more about our services. We also have that in Montreal and Laval.
Merci beaucoup.
I would like to
Merci.
I would have a question for you. I'm Claire.
Hi,
My
Claire.
husband is 69. Hi. My husband is 69. He's on stage 5 of Parkinson. I live in Gatineau. And I'm wondering if with the stage 5, does it automatically, we go to CHSLD, or is it still like something available for people with the last stage of Parkinson to go into the private sector?
That's going to depend on the services that they require, because one stage 5 for one person could be different from someone else. In Montreal, usually Montreal-Laval, we don't hear often what stages they're at. They go by the services that they require. Flavie, I don't know what's on your end regarding stage 5.
Well, stage 5 is right now he's eating puree.
Yeah.
He's almost unable to walk.
So
He
I've
has the VLF right now, so it helps him. The VLF helps him a lot with the dystonia, with the off time, because he was always off. Now he's about 30% on. So his body is less crippled.
Okay. Transferring, is he transferring with the help of one person or two, or with
One
one? So
from the
all
wheelchair to the,
okay. So someone who's already advanced, usually puree, usually when it's puree, if we're wheelchair bound, if we're going to be more likely to be sedentary in bed, that we're not going to move out of bed, you're mostly likely at the borderline of going towards a private sector. In this case, I would look more to going towards the public sector. They'll be able to provide more services, and
more services.
exactly, you won't have to move. And that was like one of the questions we had before, comments we had before, is we don't want to move again. In this case,
Mhm.
if you were to call and ask us regarding this information, I would probably suggest going towards a meeting with your social worker and going towards the public sector, just so that you have more the supervision that he needs, the services that he requires, not have to move again.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Natasha.
You're welcome. Like I said, guys, it depending on what the services are required, if we have the support of the social worker or someone in the medical team, even the physiotherapist or the occupational therapist to give us what's needed, we could guide you in the right way. Okay.
Thank you very much to attend to this webinar. Thank you, Natasha, for your presentation. And I would say good afternoon.
Have a great afternoon, guys.
Great
Nice
job,
meeting you.
Natasha. Great
Thank
job.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.